Hello and welcome to Pearly Eye Review. I'm PJ, and earlier today I saw Han Solo, a Star Wars story. Here's my ticket. Okay, I was pleasantly surprised by this. I don't think I was one of those fans that was hating on it, or those that I definitely wasn't one that saw it early. Of course, I don't have pull like that, obviously. But there was some people I think that saw it early, or people doubting the film early on, talking about Alden, the actor that plays the young Han Solo. I'm not gonna lie, I had my concerns, but I wasn't hating on the guy. I mean, I'd never seen it. I just saw it today. And people were saying, oh, he was god awful. He's this, he's that. I saw it today, and he was amazing as Han Solo. I mean, I am one of those people, I have to admit, if you're playing a younger version of an iconic character, I kind of want you, for me personally, to look like the the original character. But in this case, sometimes you just have to hire the people that are just right for the role, and he owned it. It was just right, and I liked him. He was good. But let's get into the review. The story. Han Solo, a Star Wars story, starts off with Han Solo orphaned, and he's living on a planet. Now, these are these new planets, so I wrote them down. I gotta see these, Star Wars names. Mimban, with his girlfriend, played by Emilia Clarke, the actress that plays on Game of Thrones. So they're trying to survive. What it is Mimban is a planet where you either get left behind or you are just brought there, kidnapped there. It's like a planet full of children that steal metal and fuel, and for the person that runs that planet. I forget the leader's name. It's like this big worm lady. Mixium or whatever her name is. I forgot her name. But anyways, they escape, Han Solo and his girlfriend, and they stole fuel for themselves to get enough credits to get a boarding pass to get off the planet. So to use the fuel to bribe, well, really not get a boarding pass, but bribe an Imperial officer to get off, to let them on without a boarding pass. So it works. Their plan works. And what happens is they get separated. The people that are looking for them grabs his girlfriend, and they're screaming. They're doors closed in front of Han, so he's on the other side, where he can get away, and she can't, and she's been captured. And he's, I'll come back for you. I'll never forget you. I'll come back for you. 3 years later, well, wait, not before I get to the 3 years later. Han is still in danger, and he has to somehow smuggle his way on a ship because the Imperials are looking for him. If you don't have a boarding pass, you in trouble. You on your own. And he decides to enlist in the flight program with the Empire. So they don't. Okay, this is the part where they just jump forward. They don't show where it's just talked about briefly. In order to get away, he acts as though he really truly wants to be a pilot, but not really for the Empire. He just did it just to sign up, just to get away. He enlists as a Imperial pilot for the Empire. And they don't show what happens when he got in, or his training or whatever, and what led to him being dismissed. So, because 3 years later, he's just, I guess for misfits in the Empire where they just don't know what to do with you. And so they just put you, if you're not a stormtrooper or a clone or whatever, stormtrooper clone, they put your behind on the front lines, with regular people taking over planets, just doing side jobs for the Empire. So Han Solo is in the war. He's on the Empire side, but really he's just doing it. He really wants to get out. He wants to leave. He's not doing it for a motivation. He just wants to survive in the galaxy. And during the war, this is where he meets up with Woody Harrelson, who plays Tobias Beckett, and Thandie Newton, who plays Val, his girlfriend or wife. Not sure about that. I think that was his wife. And their little gang, they're posing as Imperial soldiers in this battle, but what they're really there for is they're there to steal a ship from, I believe it was the Empire. So they can use that ship to go to another planet to steal fuel. Cause in the beginning, when the text comes up on the screen, they tell you pretty much this is what I like. What they tell you how, because of the events, how the events that happen to the rich, important people, the Jedi and the politicians, how their actions affect the not so important people like Han, like regular schmegular people. I shouldn't say schmegular. Well, just people that's trying to survive in the galaxy, how it affects them, like food, metal, and fuel, especially hyperspace fuel, is very precious because there's not a lot around. And what, like these crime lords do, they steal this fuel and sell it to either the rebels or the Empire. So that's what Woody Harrelson is part of. He's part of this group that steals hyperspace fuel for a crime lord played by Vision, Paul Bettany, Dryden, let me look at these names, Dryden Voss, I think his name was. So Han Solo realizes that they're just posing as soldiers, and he's like, hey, I want out. Look, I grew up, he tells him, I grew up stealing, I can help you out. Hey, Woody Harrelson's like, nah, you can't join. And actually backstabs him, and this isn't the first time he backstabs him. This is the first of many times he backstabbed Han Solo, betraying him. And so he tells the stormtroopers, the Imperial stormtroopers, that, hey, he's trying to leave. Woody Harrelson says that about Han Solo. Oh, he's trying to leave. He's trying to bail out on the Empire. So they lock Han Solo up, and they throw him in this mud pit. You're like, oh god, he's chained up by one of his legs, and something is growling and yelling and pulling him. He's like, what the heck? And Han is like, he sees that the pole that the chain is attached to is loose, and this thing is grabbing him and pulling him through the mud. He's being, dragged up against the pole, and then, of course, I kind of got a hint as to who this is. I'm like, I wonder if this is, of course, it's Chewbacca. Chewbacca's been captured, so now we know what happened. They don't go into too much detail, but it's obvious that the Empire kidnapped him and enslaved Chewbacca's people, which is really sad. After the events of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, because remember, he was in Revenge of the Sith. The last time we saw him, it was with Yoda. So, they meet up. Han convinces Chewbacca to, telling him, hey, the pole's loose, we can work together and get loose. So eventually, because he speaks Wookiee, so that's why Chewbacca warmed up to him. So that's how they get loose. And Han tells Chewie, hey, I know these people, they smuggle goods, we can be friends with them, we can kind of get out. You want freedom, come with me. And so Chewbacca agrees. They meet up with Woody Harrelson again, who, his band, one of his band of friends likes that Han Solo he's a survivor. He says, come on, let the kid come on with us. He's useful. He got it, even though you tattled on him, he survives. So he lets Chewie on the ship. And Han, Woody Harrelson does. And so, they tell Chewie and Han they have a mission. They need to go steal some fuel for that crime boss they owe stuff from. They owe money for. So they do the mission. It's like that's the scene you see in the trailer. They're on the train, and Chewbacca's hanging on. He's about to get his head knocked off. Then they're trying to disconnect the cars to get the fuel that's in one of the cars. But the plan goes bad. 2 more of his crew members, Woody Harrelson's crew members, die, and then it's just Han and Chewie. They lose the fuel. And Woody Harrelson's like, hey, man, this guy doesn't play. We can't be playing with this guy's money. He needs this fuel. You messed up the mission. You're a coward. You should have held on to the fuel because it was hanging on by one wire. But these pirates were trying to get the fuel too. That's how they got their plan messed up, because these other people, the pirates, I can't even say their name. The one with the Kylo Ren looking mask, those are the pirates. They tried to get the fuel too, but it blew up. It crashed somewhere, so Han Solo's group and the pirates were both fighting over the fuel. But both lost out because the fuel blew up. So anyways, they go to, what is this planet's name? Vandor. So Woody Harrelson says, look, we gotta go to Vandor. I need to talk to my boss because I'm in trouble. I don't have any fuel that I promised to get him. Don't talk to anybody. That's the scene where they go to that pretty cool club. What's his name? Paul Bettany's character. Oh lordy. Dryden Voss has like this spaceship yacht, which is pretty cool, and he has clubs and parties on there. And Woody Harrelson's character, Tobias, tells him, don't talk to anybody, don't look at anybody. So Han tries to do that, but somebody touches his shoulder or something, and he turns around. It's his homegirl from his planet. And he's like, wait a minute, I'm doing all this to come back for you and get a ship and get some money. Like, what are you doing here? So long story short, you see this branded tattoo on her wrist, and you realize, okay, this crime boss, Paul Bettany, owns her, Dryden Voss. And it's, that's how she, made deals. She's got issues of her own, and she's made so many deals with people and done some unhanded things, and she's trying to tell Han Solo, like, listen, it's been 3 years, you've changed, I've changed, it's just not the same. I've done some horrible things. So they meet up with Dryden Voss. He's not happy, of course. He's that typical bad guy that just, yells and gets mad. He's got scratches all on his face and got these blades, light blades, like daggers or something like that. I kind of like them though. Like mini lightsabers. Little nod to the red lightsaber. He tells him, listen, what are you gonna do for me? Cause I'm ready to kill somebody. I wanted my fuel so I could sell it and get my money. And, so they come up with a plan where they know where some more fuel is on a planet some mine planet called Cassell. I hope I'm saying that right. God, these planet names. And, so Han, Chewie, and Dryden Voss, makes his general, that's Han Solo's girlfriend, Kira is her name, played by Emilia Clarke, makes her go with Han, Chewie, and Tobias to go get the miming fuel, the fuel from the mines, the mine planet. And, he's telling all of them, you don't come back with my stuff, I'm gonna kill all y'all. Oh man, it's just crazy. So, but remember, they stole that ship for him, so he's got the ship. So he's like, y'all better find a pilot around here to go help y'all go get that cargo. I'm not doing it. That's my ship you stole. when Tobias coincidentally met up with Han Solo, they were still on the ship, from the Empire. So Dryden Voss took that ship and he was like, y'all better find a pilot. So that's where they meet up with Lando. So he's gambling. So Han Solo tries to gamble the Millennium Falcon from him. It doesn't work because, and this is a spoiler review, I'm telling everything. Lando's cheating, he's got cards up his sleeve, so that's how he keeps his ship. Lando keeps his ship, but is persuaded to get a cut from, if he gets the fuel, to get a percentage of when they get the fuel to Dryden Voss. So that's why he agrees to be the pilot. And here's a new character. It's her name, she's a robot, and her name is L3, I think it is. And she's a feminist robot. I really like her character, not necessarily because she's a feminist, but I think she's really funny, and she reminds me of that robot from Rogue One, K something, the big black one. Oh god, they're very spunky, and I really like those robots. Well, I like this one in particular, in Han Solo, and so she feels that robots should be free and all this kind of stuff, but she's like a walking GPS, and but anyway, she's really cool. She's like a walking GPS. She helps them navigate through anything, especially through the wormholes that lead to the mine planet, because it's very dangerous. A lot of ships get stuck there, because you can see the lights from the different ships that are stuck in the wormholes, like the walls of the wormholes, trying to get to the mine Cassio planet. So they all agree to go. So it's Lando, his robot L3, Chewbacca, Tobias, and Kira. So I like some of the moments with Kira and Han. Very romantic. Some people may feel like, well, wait a minute, Han's Leia's. But at this point, I would think Leia's probably like 12 or 13 years old, and Han looks like he's about late teens, early 20s at this point. Come on. He had to have had different women in his life. He looks like it. He looks like he's a schmoozer, like Lando. So they've been around. So, but I like all that romantic stuff. I usually roll my eyes at stuff like that, but it wasn't like, it was cute. The romantic scenes between Han and Kira. So anyways, they get to the Miami planet. It kind of reminds you, it's a nod to episode 4, A New Hope, the very first original Star Wars movie, how they're in disguise, pretending to be prisoners, Han and Chewie, and, they overtake the mine, offices to get the fuel, and they're shooting up and they're fighting, and it's really cool. And the most touching, I think, one of the most touching moments in the film was when Chewbacca, these mining people, they take workers. They trade money also for workers. That's why Han and Chewie were posing, acting like they were trading people to work for the mines. And Chewbacca found some of his people. And Chewbacca at some point stopped the mission to go help his people. And so, he runs off to free his people, and Chewie runs back to go help Han. So Chewie helps everybody. Chewie has a heart for everybody. He was helping his own people. I don't think they're necessarily connected to him, but I think that's they look like Wookiees. They're just people, part of his heritage, his tribe. Another touching moment, once he frees them, they get to the point where they get the fuel, and it's just a shootout. It's a struggle to try and get the fuel on the ship. And because it's heavy, it's like a big gas tank, and they're trying to lift it up. And Chewbacca and one of his tribe people are helping them trying to get away, put the fuel, because it's helping. Wookiees can pick up stuff like nobody's business, and his people are helping him. And one of his people does that. He's like, tell him, like, come on, come with us. You saved us. You're part of our tribe. You're Wookiee. And Chewie's looking back at Han. Chewie's looking back at his people. He's like, no, I think I'll go with Han. he needs me. He's like, I'll catch up with you later. And they just go off, and it's like, you're just free. I'm free, you're free. I love y'all, but bye. I'm going with these guys. I got some stuff to do. So he goes off with Han. He makes a decision to go off with Han instead of his own people. I thought that was like really touching and sad, bittersweet at the same time. But at least he got to rescue some of his tribe people. Chewbacca did. Lando gets hurt because the robot L3, she went on a rant trying to free all the robots that work there too, and she got shot up. And Lando got shot trying to save his robot. Because she was helpful at first, L3, but she got into, robots need to be free, and she got shot up, and so they had to take her apart, take her memory bank, and put it into the ship to navigate to get out of the mines, because she was gone. It's just that her data was still, it was workable, so they installed it into the Millennium Falcon. So they're trying to get out of the wormhole. Imperial ships get them. It's that they're playing that same old Star Wars music we love. That they're trying to get away. I couldn't help but smile at that part. I found myself cheesing like a little kid again. I'm like, yeah, and it just reminds you of like when Luke, Leia, and Han were trying to get away, and it's just that part when they first got away from the Death Star. It's just, that's what it reminds you. I'm like, yeah. And they do that part where he gets away from the 12 parsecs, or what, something he was telling Luke in the first film, and they get into this wormhole. The ship's needs fuel, so Woody's character, whatever his name is, Woody's character gets a little piece of like a small drop from the fuel that they stole and puts it into the ship, just a drop to give them enough push to get away, and they get away. And so, but the ship is damaged, so they go back. They don't go back to Vandor, they go to Savareen, I think. Whatever that planet's, it's like a beach planet. I hope I'm saying it right, Lord. Names of these planets is like a nightmare to me. If it's not Naboo or Coruscant, I don't want it. Or Tatooine. Whatever. Anyways. That's where they try to meet up with Dryden Voss, to trade over the fuel and get their money and be on their way. But then the pirates come again and attack them, and we're like, oh God, come on. And then the pirate takes off her helmet, and it's a young woman, and she says, we're part of a little band, we're partnering up with the rebellion, we're stealing fuel because we know that this crime boss is just going to give it to the Empire. No, we're trying to stop the Empire from getting fuel so they can stop their terror on the galaxy. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good cause. And Woody Harrelson's character is like, look, man, I don't care. It's just, Han kind of has a heart. But anyways, Woody Harrelson's character is like, look, I'm going. you all just do what you need to do. He leaves for a minute. So it's Chewie, Kira, and Han. So they go back and tells Dryden Voss, hey, we got your fuel. Dryden Voss doesn't believe it's the fuel because, again, this is the second time Woody Harrelson's character betrayed Han. So he's trying to do a double cross because he didn't like the plan Han came up with, trying to help the pirates, the rebels, keep the fuel from the Empire and Dryden Voss. And so, because Woody Harrelson told Dryden Voss, and Woody Harrelson tells Han Solo, did not tell you, you haven't been listening, don't trust anybody. And there's just this back and forth of cat and mouse, who's telling the truth and who's betraying who. I really like the tension in the room. It had me, it's so crazy that these characters are going to be okay, because this is a prequel. This isn't the future or in between. But I still found myself concerned for Han Solo, and I really like that. I like when I'm concerned, even though we know they're going to be okay in the end. But it was intense, because Dryden Voss didn't believe that the fuel was real, and so he had his people outside attacking the pirates, because that's what Woody Harrelson told Dryden Voss. So Dryden Voss has his troops outside attacking the pirates that appeared what they thought had the containers. The containers were empty, so they realized, okay, Han Solo really did bring the fuel. So they pretty much, Woody Harrelson pulls a gun. Yeah, since all the troops, Dryden Voss, Paul Bettany's characters, his troops are outside, he has no bodyguards or protection. So Woody Harrelson pulls a gun out on all of them. He's like, I'm taking this fuel. Forget y'all, I'm leaving. He tells Chewbacca, you coming with me. I need you to carry his stuff. So Chewbacca has no choice, because Chewbacca has no weapons. So nor does Han and all that. So it was crazy. So, well, they have, I don't think so. I don't think they had any, it's kind of, it goes really quickly. So Tobias leaves. That's Woody Harrelson. So it's just Amelia, Kira, Han, and Dryden Voss. So Dryden Voss, it's a free for all. The fuel's gone with Tobias, and they just start shooting up, cutting up in the room, fighting, and Han's shooting at that Dryden. He's got these blades, and they light up, and so Kira, she is a bad mamma jamma. She can fight. So it seems like she's attacking Han. She turns around and gets one of the blades caught in her sword, the blades from Dryden, and stabs him in the chest with it. So she kills him off, and so it's just them alone. And Kira tells Han, "Go ahead, go on without me. Stop Tobias from getting the fuel, and give it to the pirates that really need it, that are working with the rebellion." You know, he looks back at her. She's like, "Oh, I'm coming. I'll be with you." So Han goes off to stop Tobias, and so she's in the room by herself. She closed down the shutters. I'm like, okay, is somebody gonna come back? Is somebody gonna come back to life, or what's going on here? So she turns on the hologram. Somebody's in the hood talking. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. And then the hood pulls back. She tells this person who pulls his hood back that Dreyfus Voss is dead. You know, I'm coming to meet with you. And, you know, so that means I like the fact that Kira is like a double agent. You don't know who she's working for. She can backstab you in a minute. So she was working for my boy was in it. Spoiler. Darth Maul was her boss all along. Oh my god. I lost my mind when I saw my boy Darth Maul. I'm moving away from the mic. I'm so excited. I love it. Yes. I listen. The prequels aren't perfect, but I can pick and choose some of the things that I like from the prequels. I'm talking about the ones that George Lucas made, 1, 2, and 3. I love me some Darth Maul. I've been waiting. See, listen. I have hope, since we saw Darth Maul, and if you're a Rebels fan, you'll know he's been alive all along, so that's no big secret. I wasn't shocked about him. You know, I was shocked that he was in this, but you know, in terms of him being alive, because you know he's alive because he's in the cartoons called The Rebels, Star Wars Rebels, and Clone Wars. So it was just cool that the movie version of Star Wars acknowledged that he is definitely alive. So that means their worlds connect. The cartoon, what's going on in the cartoons and the movies, they connect now. And I like that little nod. It's just, I like these little connections. Some people don't like it. I like, you know, this is the dude that dealt with Luke and Leia's mom and is connected to someone that Darth Maul's connected to someone that is connected to Han Solo, so it's a small world, and I like that. Oh man, it was so cool seeing Darth Maul with that 2-blade. Oh my god, yes! He didn't fight, but he just pulled up that blade, and the hologram was like, yeah, we gonna handle this. Give me that fuel. Oh man. Yeah, yeah, so, but anyways, back to Han Solo. Han Solo stops Tobias, Kira from afar from her, the yacht ship looking thing, shoots Tobias and kills him. So I'm like, that's what you get for betraying people. See, once you double time people, somebody else gonna double time you. And, so she flies away, and Tobias dies in Han's arms, and Han, this is the introduction of him being a smuggler and working for crime lords. You watching this movie, you understand why Han is the way he is by the time you get to episode 4, A New Hope, the first Star Wars. Why he's like, I don't want to do with the galaxy, everybody, I'm not part of your cause, I'm not trying to help, no, people don't, I help myself, cause he's been, crossed so many times. Why he always looks out for himself, and why he is a survivor, why he, tells Luke that all the time when Luke was, running around crazy, just doing stuff and not having a plan, yeah. Overall, that was pretty much the story, but, and it ends with Han, giving the fuel, making sure the fuel gets to the pirates, and Han going to Tatooine and doing that job early on that, Woody Harrelson's character mentioned, working for a crime lord. So the crime lord is obviously Jabba the Hutt. So that's, cause that's where he was on Tatooine. I just like the connection there. I'm like, that's where Luke and Obi-Wan are. I'm like, boy, please. What? I just pray, since they mentioned Tatooine, please have an Obi-Wan movie. Okay, here's how I want my Obi-Wan movie. Quickly. I'll say this. I want my Obi-Wan movie. Okay. Let it be exchanges between Owen Lars, Luke's uncle, and Obi-Wan. And Owen Lars constantly telling Obi-Wan, stay away from Luke, stop watching him. He's in this situation because of what you and his parents did. He needs to learn to live a normal life. And Obi-Wan, pretty much they do this in the comic books, telling him, like, what if listen, sooner or later he's gonna have to run into his father. So what are you gonna do? I have to teach this boy how to defend himself. He needs to learn how to be a Jedi sooner or later. He's the chosen one. He needs to, take care of his father. Do something about his dad, because he's the only one that can do it. Or, Leia too. But he just mentions Luke, and, I want it to be like that. And maybe the last few seconds of an Obi-Wan movie, we don't see Luke's face as a little kid. We don't see too much of him, but in the last few minutes of the movie, the back of Luke's head, trying to get some bits and pieces of information, like, hey, my dad? My uncle told me that you knew him, and Obi-Wan briefly mentions, yeah, I knew your father, and that's how Luke knows, he knows his dad, and I just think it would be cool. Owen catches him talking to Obi-Wan, like, get over there. Stop talking to that crazy old man. He has no magic powers. Get out of here. I'm just saying that I'm going off on my Obi-Wan theory, because they mentioned Tatooine, and that's where Han is going. I don't want to see Han there, but I'm just saying, I hope this can lead into their next Star Wars story, Obi-Wan, his life after, right after when he drops Luke off on Tatooine to Beru and Owen, and then the years gradually grow into the old man watching over Luke. I think that would just be really cool, and him trying to deal with day-to-day life in Tatooine, the desert hood. as an old Jedi man that used to live in a, a nice apartment and stuff, at the Jedi Temple, and he's living in a dust ball. That's what I want to see, how he's just coping with that. And he's getting older, and it's just like, it's getting to a point where I can no longer protect this kid. He's got to learn the Force sooner or later. But yeah, I'm just saying, this movie, I hope that leads into that. Again, I know I'm rambling on, sorry, but overall, pretty good movie. This is definitely for Star Wars fans. If you just love Star Wars, I say this is a must-see. Go see it. But if you're a fan, you're not a hardcore Star Wars fan, you're just like, Star Wars, whatever. Watch it from the comfort of your own home. But if you're a Star Wars fan, you need to get up off your behind and go see this. Come on, man. It was just like the feeling I got when I saw Rogue One. And oh man, Rogue One was so good. With Darth Vader, seeing him again, and just that whole thing leading up to A New Hope. I mean, minutes before A New Hope starts, I thought that was pretty cool. And how they got the plans to the Death Star. And this film just showing a piece, a smidget of what Han was like before he met up with Luke and Leia. How he became sort of like, I don't want to help nobody. I ain't scared of no Empire. My ship can outrun everybody. That's just how he became a space cowboy, and I thought that was pretty cool. So that's my review. What did you guys think? I liked it. Some people may not like it. Some people, and I also want to point out, I don't mind, movies that have heavy mythology of the Force and movies that just don't have it at all. Some people are like, I'm tired of the Force, or I don't want to see no cowboys. I want everything to be only about Jedis. Listen, I think there's room for everybody's story to be told in the Star Wars world. This is a big galaxy. Everybody's story can be told. I like Star Wars whether it's just about cowboys, space cowboys, or Jedi, or both, or hints of that. They showed Darth Maul. It wasn't Jedi heavy or Sith heavy. They showed a smidget of Darth Maul, and I was fine with that. At this whole thing of people going off mad about, like, I'm tired of the Skywalkers and I don't want to see them no more. I'm like, come on, it started with the Skywalkers. Like, just how can you say that? It started with George Lucas, And I like the fact that, Ron Howard came on and took this over when two other directors, was messing around with this thing, wasn't doing a very good job. Ron Howard, thank you for respecting George Lucas. Thank you. And putting Darth Maul in here. Yeah, thank you. I'm all for it. They've been friends since Ron Howard was, I think, a teenager. So I like the fact that Ron Howard is friends with George Lucas and still gives him the respect that he deserves. I like it. This is a must-see for me. Definitely if you're a Star Wars fan. That's my review. Okay, thanks.